All right, it's the last chair shot reality before history is going to take place, Mr. Eisenberg and WWE. A historic week approaching, draft, SmackDown Live.
Everything.
The question is, Wednesday morning, what is going to be the top story coming out of Tuesday night's draft?
Oh, man, that's a loaded question, huh? There's so many ways to go about it.
Let your creativity flow. Let your wisdom.
Well, it's going to be one thing that I'm going to be frustrated with, and it's going to be the announcement of a second world championship. That was one of the big reasons I think it failed. The brand split failed a couple of years ago, not even a couple of years ago, almost a decade ago now, is because they had two world champions. And yes, it, quote, gives credibility to guys as the world heavyweight champion and WWE champion. But I'm on this case that, okay, one world champion is a guy that you put all of your stock into that sells, for lack of a better term, sells the most merchandise, is the most marketable, a guy that everybody wants to see on a daily basis. Whether you're booing the hell out of Roman Reigns or whether you're loving the return of Seth Rollins, people want to see your world champion as much as possible. Since it is Monday and Tuesday, back-to-back filmings, back-to-back live shows, there's no reason why that champion can't float between Raw and SmackDown, have one world champion, actually elevate the U.S. and Intercontinental Championships, and then have the Tag Team Championships and Divas Champions fall into place.
I agree with you. I don't like two world champions either, but I'll say this. The live SmackDown's the difference. The brand split did not work last time, or it eventually sunk, and the two world titles did not work because SmackDown was always the inferior show. It was taped. It did not have the same attention given to it. But now with it being live on Tuesday, 24 hours removed from Raw, there's a lot better chance for that title to at least try to be, for that champion to be of equal stature. And maybe, who knows, maybe it'll go in rotation. Maybe for some months they'll say, man, whatever they call it, or whatever they phrase it, the champion on Raw is doing well. Now it's the one on SmackDown. So I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm with you, but I think there's more hope this time. I think the biggest story Wednesday morning is going to be, and I know you're surprised by it if it happens, is John Cena's going to be SmackDown. WWE wants, I've seen the material they're sending out. They want people to take SmackDown seriously. It's even in the name. That's why they're calling it SmackDown Live. They want that simple branding change. And what better way, love him or hate him, what better way to let people know SmackDown is not going to be treated as the B show. It's going to be of equal attention than you put your franchise player on the show.
But do you think that Raw and SmackDown are going to be created equal? I don't. What's going to happen is you're going to have a couple of big names on Raw, and then you're going to have, in my opinion, the up-and-coming or the cool, whether it's NXT or guys that are recently brought up to WWE, the cool guys on SmackDown, because they'll always have the casual fan tune into Monday Night Raw, correct?
Yes, and Raw's longer, so they need some of the entertainment shenanigans to fill that 3 hours versus SmackDown, where you can do a much tighter show.
I'm worried if you put John Cena on SmackDown. John Cena, he's never going to lose his luster. I understand that. That's why he's not in World Championship matches anymore, and he can fight with whoever and really elevate them up to another status, whether it's an AJ Styles, whether it's a Kevin Owens. Think of what he's done with those two guys. Even though Kevin Owens was an Intercontinental Champion and didn't have a huge role in WrestleMania, people know Kevin Owens because of that feud, because of his first win in Elimination Chamber, and John Cena establishes them. If he goes to SmackDown, it's Monday Night Raw is Monday night. It's a wrestling. That's the night. I'm excited about SmackDown being live. It's well overdue. I would be very surprised if they said, John, you've been doing this for such a long time. We're going to try to make you do Tuesday night. I just don't think John – he'll do it, but I just don't think it's going to succeed as much as you think.
I still think they have so much more – the depth is continuing to grow. You can still put the Brock Lesnar – even though Brock's not there every week, you can still put guys like Brock Lesnar.
That's another question.
A returning Randy Orton. I mean, you can still have plenty of credibility on Raw. And again, you're going to have more time to fill in Raw. So,
and here's another thing. Whenever you're looking at who splits up, we're not going to draft superstars all the way down. Like you're doing that on Triple Live Radio on Tuesday, I believe.
Good plug.
Yeah, you're welcome. I do think that it has to be taken into consideration. Guys like John Cena and Randy Orton, there's no way that those guys can be on the same show. They feuded for so much, so long, so often for the past 15 years. You got to split those guys up. And Randy Orton's always been a SmackDown guy. He won world championships on SmackDown. Right. He carried the SmackDown brand, for lack of a better term. I don't want to see SmackDown taken as the stepchild, the second best, but it's always going to be like that because it's not Monday Night Raw.
Well, real quick, without drafting everybody, there's a lot of fear of people being broken up. Mainly, and I don't understand that people actually can believe that Enzo and Cass would ever be broken up right now. But them,
Makes no
Wyatt's.
sense.
It doesn't. But people, is there anything significant? Is anybody gonna be broken up? Does anybody return? Does anybody pop up to the draft that we went? Oh, I didn't know they're eligible.
I think that that's a great question.
No Kurt Angle. I'm sorry.
You can't split up the New Day.
You can't pass the
physical. You can't split up the Wyatt family.
No.
You can't split up Enzo and Cass. I mean, no.
Not really anybody.
I don't think that there's a team or a group of guys that gets split up.
Can you split the Shield guys who are in there?
Yeah,
Can you
absolutely.
split them?
Yeah, I think Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns go to SmackDown. I think Seth Rollins stays on Raw.
Very interesting. Well, make sure you follow along with us on Twitter. Hashtag Raw, hashtag WZCSR Monday night, as we'll be finding out the GMs and previewing. And then, of course, Tuesday night SmackDown Live. History is going to change. Share Shot Rally will be back next weekend. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, spread the reality.
Boom.